Bride decides to break up with her fiance, still does something unforgettable on their wedding day. We meet so many people in the course of our lives. Among the people we get to interact with, there are some who manage to steal our hearts. We fall in love and we plan on starting a family of our own. Now, although we may be in love, the more important question is, will the love last? Some people often fall out of love. Among them was this girl who had broken off her engagement. But she still did something truly strange. Watch on to find out what it is. And so, like any other couple, this lady and her man had made a decision to get married. They wanted to take their relationship to the next level and be with each other for the rest of their lives. However, life got in the way, and she slowly felt like she had made the wrong decision. As the wedding date neared, her eyes were burning red from the tears she was shedding all day. It was unfortunate for her to realize this so late in the relationship. And because her wedding was just a week away, she knew the way she felt was wrong. It was not supposed to feel like this. She was definitely not a happy bride-to-be. However, the venue had been booked and she had already chosen the gown of her dreams. What was she to do anymore? So who was this poor lady who did not feel at ease about her upcoming wedding day? Well, her name was Colby Sanders. This woman from the outside had a seemingly perfect life. She was just 24 years old, and she had such a bright future ahead of her. She was in love, and she had spent a few weeks planning her fairy tale wedding. So, who was she getting married to anyways? Well, Colby had been in a loving relationship with Skylar for over 4 years now. They were happy together, and nothing seemed to stop the couple from thriving. After dating for a while, they got engaged. In fact, they had been engaged for the last 18 months. For a pair who had dated this long, it was natural to want to get married. The couple had dated for so long that everyone was excited for them. Colby's mom and sister were extra excited. They would assist and do everything in the months leading up to the wedding. She would always be accompanied by them to venues, helped her sample the wedding cake, went to her bridesmaids' fittings, and helped decide on the perfect dress for her. Since Colby and Skylar had been so in love all these years, everyone knew they could feel their love too. The family and friends they had were all thrilled for Colby, which was completely normal. And so, Colby was bombarded with her wedding plans that she never took the time to even realize that something important was missing. Since everyone was so thrilled to see the lovebirds getting hitched, Colby and Skylar decided on the best of everything they could afford. They bought the suit and dress of their choice, and even the decorations for the wedding was beautiful. And so, the two wanted to have the perfect venue to get married in. They decided on Bellevue in Tyler, Texas. And so, since this was such a sought-after venue, it came with a price. Because it was for a wedding, means a few extra touches. The price for just one night escalated to a whopping $3,500. But since they knew this was the perfect spot, the couple paid with absolutely no regrets. Bellevue was the place everyone agreed, the perfect venue for Colby and Skylar. And so, as the wedding day approached, the couple got done with most of the planning. They now had the perfect venue secured, her wedding gown had been selected, alterations were done, invitations had been sent out, and caterers booked. So Colby still went to bed with a heavy heart that night. She could not sleep and kept staring at the ceiling. And so, after only 1 week left, Colby would finally stand at the altar to say her "I do." She would be officially married to the man she loved the most. It would be the day that marks the union of these two lovers who had made it to a point in their lives where they were ready to settle down. But there was still something, a sense of sorrow deep inside the bride-to-be. And so, since she did not have a good night's sleep, the following morning, Colby was drained. She was so exhausted. After tossing and turning the whole night, Colby woke up feeling tired and unhappy. She had realized and come to a point where she could not ignore the fact that something was wrong. It was a feeling she could not shake off. And since Colby woke up after such a bad night, it showed on her face, and even Skylar started to feel the anxiety coming from her when they sat across each other at the breakfast table. She had red and puffy eyes, and she seemed weak and looked a mess. She did not even take a single bite from her meal. She then looked up and told him something shocking. And for weeks, both of them and all of their family members have been planning every detail to make their wedding a huge celebration. They had already spent such a huge amount for this day, but for some reason, the bride-to-be did not feel right. "We need to talk," Colby told Skylar. He could tell from her eyes and the way she behaved that it was not something positive. And as they were sitting opposite each other at the breakfast table, Skylar could see it clearly written on her face that his dreams were about to be shattered. He did not expect his world to fall apart, but it was about to happen. The tears started to stream down Colby's face, but she needed to get this off her chest. It felt wrong, and she had to tell him. So, after days of contemplating, Colby finally could not take it anymore. She had to tell Skylar how she felt and be truthful to him. And what she felt was that, although she did love Skylar a lot, there was no spark between them anymore. In fact, she realized that there had not been any excitement between them for months, and this was something she needed to let out. As we said, a wedding takes a lot of effort and planning for it to be a success. The couple and their entire families have dedicated so much time and spent so much for their big day, but Colby was not sure about it anymore. It was indeed the hardest decision she ever had to make, but she needed to trust her instincts. She was so busy planning but never really took time to reflect. And so, after confronting her issues, she realized that this wedding was not for her. She had to break the news before it was too late, and she finally did. So then, that very morning, Colby broke off her wedding to Skylar. And since this happened just now, it was too late to get any kind of refund for the money everyone had spent for their big day. She was depressed. And so, weeks and weeks of preparation went down the drain. All the energy and time spent to make their wedding a success had proved to not be worthy. The feeling in her heart was too much for her to bottle in. She then thought about the sad fact that their venue had been wasted. She was depressed and could not stop crying. Soon, an idea came to her. She knew that the venue they had picked out was one of the most coveted locations for weddings, so if they were not going to get married at the Bellevue, it did not mean that somebody else could not. Colby then thought to herself that she was capable of flipping this whole situation for the better. She knew she could get something positive out of it. So, after she confirmed with Skylar and called off their wedding, Colby had a lot of time to think. She wanted to remain positive and not be swallowed up in the whole mess that had been made. She decided to make a call to the owners of the venue, and within just 24 hours, she decided to donate the venue to another couple. So, who were these people? So, what Colby decided on doing was to make use of social media to get her message across. She ended up using Facebook, where she called on other couples that might be interested. She uploaded a post where she questioned if any couple was free to get married on October 20th, her now canceled wedding day. Colby waited for answers. Since the venue they chose was a popular one, Colby soon got a wave of responses, and her comment section was soon flooded with people's comments. They came from caterers and makeup artists to photographers and dressmakers. All these folks were so inspired to see Colby's gesture that was offering their free servicing to the chosen couple. And so, after reading through her comments, by the time her day ended, Colby took the names of dozens of hopeful couples. She had to find a way to pick the lucky winners, but how was she to choose just one? She decided to choose between the couples that had the most touching stories to tell. These were entered into a random draw. So, after taking a close inspection as to what these couples were about, Colby would decide who was most deserving. She filtered the potential winners, and this way, she would be able to hand the venue over to the most deserving couples. They would get a beautiful free wedding venue. So, in the end, one couple's story caught her attention the most. There were so many couples who had written to Colby after she posted about donating her wedding venue. This was again clear proof that it was such a sought-after location for couples. And in the end, 22-year-old Haley Hipsher and her fiance, Matthew Jones, who had financial issues, took her attention the most. They won over her heart with their story. So what exactly was this couple's story like? Well, the young couple was so in love and had actually been engaged for about a year. Since the two of them were both not financially sound, they could never actually plan or have their dream wedding. There was one good reason why the couple could not save up. It was actually pretty heartwarming. This couple was definitely not the typical engaged couple. In fact, Haley and Matthew already had kids. The two of them already have a baby called Riley. These two had a story that was actually very touching. So touching, in fact, that Colby was compelled to choose them. So then what was the reason behind Colby making up her mind about giving them the free wedding venue? Well, the other good reason why this couple was so deserving was that Haley's grandfather, or Papa, as he lovingly called, had been diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer. Since she was extremely close to her granddad, Haley had to worry every day if he would be there for her big day or not. She was fearful that he might not make it. So after drawing a few deserving candidates, it was time for Colby to make a decision. So as soon as Colby pulled Haley and Matthew's names from the draw, the look on her face showed how pleased she was about her decision. So soon after, she made an announcement regarding the winner in a live Facebook video. Obviously, the hopeful couple was overjoyed. This was such a blessing for the couple who had been living under financial strain for so long. They would now be able to get the wedding of their dreams that they were not able to execute due to their monetary circumstances. And there was yet another reason to celebrate too. Hailey's grandfather could join and be the guest of honor. And so, after they were selected, the couple clearly wanted Colby to attend their wedding. After all, it was due to this lady that they would tie the knot in a place where they never thought it would be possible. Colby was glad to join them and help out Hailey with all her wedding day planning. It was a bittersweet feeling for Colby, but she knew in her heart that this was the right thing to do. Hailey Hipsher could then officially change her name to Haley Jones on that afternoon on the 20th of October. This was everything the bride and groom had wanted, and even more. Although they handed out the invitations quite late, the wedding was a success as so many people were in attendance on their union. Even Papa could make it. Throwing together everything on short notice was difficult, but worked out. Walking down the aisle was breathtaking, and I wouldn't want to change 1 second of the day because it is all I could have dreamed of and more, Hailey later revealed in an interview she gave, reflecting on the day she received the incredible donation. It was possible because of one selfless woman. As for the bride who decided to call off her wedding, Colby was so happy for the couple. It proves that I did the right things with my own marriage and chose the right person. It was fate that I drew her name, she revealed. Her first Facebook post then went viral, but soon everyone was curious to learn more about the newlyweds and the health of Hailey's grandfather. And since people were so touched by the story, it went viral and pretty soon the news decided to cover the story. Colby's generosity led to thousands being inspired. Colby makes sure she stays humble. This was natural to me. I didn't have to think about it, she added. I'm really glad that she won. Her reaction definitely made all of this worth it.